Hi everybody, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to do another heart painting. You might know if you watch my channel, I quite often do hearts, all different styles, different techniques, different designs. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to do a swipe, but what I'm going to do is embellish it afterwards with a heart silhouette. So I will draw some hearts onto my canvas and then colour in the outside. So what you will see left is the colourful hearts. So to create sort of a shadows around the heart. So a totally different concept of a heart. So what I'm aiming for is a really pretty little swipe with lots of little tiny cells, tiny details. So let me show you the colours I've chosen. So these are all leftovers from a previous pour except the pink. So it's an Amsterdam pink. I just felt without it, I'm not sure, it just needed some pink just to warm it up a bit. So I've got some Pebeo orange, permanent blue violet, Amsterdam, Montmartre gold, Montmartre white, Amsterdam a pale purple, and then this colour here is just the colour that I wiped from my worktop after I did the painting. So this is just basically a mix of these colours, and this was the colour that I got, so I've got quite a lot of that. So they're all mixed with PVA glue and water, but I've thinned it down. What I'd quite like is quite a runny consistency so that I don't get ridges on my canvas. So I can't really give you an idea of how much water I put in because I just kept adding it until it felt right. But can you see it leaves a trace, but barely. The trace just disappears after maybe half a second, a second. So it's just a bit runnier than my normal swipe mixture. The canvas I'm using is a 30 by 42 centimetre. I'm just thinking through how I'm going to lay the colours onto the canvas because I want quite thin bands. I don't want to do straight lines. So I think I'm going to add a diagonal and quite wavy lines. I'm going to put this pale purple, actually the two purples I've got the least of. So I'm going to put those on first because I'm going to put those quite near the centre. So I think I'm just going to go for quite a thin, wiggly diagonal line. Yeah, I've got enough for another coat in there, which is good. And then just do that with each of the colours. Oh, now you can see the difference between a plastic cup, it doesn't matter, and a cardboard cup. Cardboard cup, I could make a funnel, so I was in control. The plastic cup, that just went all over the place. Right, really happy, but what I'm going to do now is just add a little bit more colour where I can, just to fill in some of those gaps. And now I'm just going to dab the canvas just to cover those little bare patches. It doesn't matter if this pattern gets disrupted because it's all going to be swiped. With my white, I'm now just going to drizzle a little bit just everywhere, and that should just really brighten it up and make it really come alive. Right, to swipe, I'm going to use a little piece of flimsy plastic. I don't think I mentioned there is silicone in all of these paints. I put in coconut hair serum, which is this moisturising coconut milk anti-breakage serum, and I put in about 2 or 3 drops per cup. So that acts as a silicone oil, which is going to create the cells when these colours start to merge and overlap. So I've gone wavy in that direction. So I think what I'm going to do is now swipe. Shall I go? I think I'm just going to go horizontally, but probably in some sort of wave, not straight. Let's start here. So I'm just touching it on the end and just pulling the paints across each other in a wavy pattern. Wipe it off and then go again. Right, now I've got 2 minds. One is just to leave it like that. The other option, well, there's a few options really, but the other option is to now just swipe back in reverse. I'm slightly worried about the purple. I think the purple is going to really take over. I'm going to go back. That's my instinct is telling me to go back. Because what that will do is actually just blend the colours a little bit more. Right, I've got some cells coming up, so I'm now going to give it a torch, see what happens, and this will change drastically now. Right, that is perfect. So if you look at it, you can see that rough diagonal line, but you've got, because the lines were quite thin, you've just got this big mix, haven't you? A mix of colours. I can see it. I can see most colours, I think. The pink, the gold, the orange, the purple, pale purple. It is there. It's not that obvious. Yeah, really pleased with this. And what's really good about what I'm wanting to do now is I am not going to tilt this because I'm going to be embellishing it near the centre, and it will be black around the edge. So I'm not worried about stretching cells. I'm not worried that if I was keeping this as a painting by itself, I wouldn't like this bit here, but that doesn't matter. It's going to be painted over. So this is absolutely ideal. I am just going to wet the edges, the sides, because I want those to be the same thickness as the rest of the painting when it comes to embellishing over the top. So it doesn't matter what colour I'm using, because this will not show. but I just want the same finish to the sides as is on the surface. So what I'm really happy with is the chaos of it, but also the detail of it. The tiny, tiny cells just are absolutely jam-packed. And that's exactly what I'm wanting, because the hearts are going to have this pattern, and then surrounding them will be blacked out. So I'm really happy with these. What pretty, pretty colours. I'm glad I added that pink because it just needed a bit more warmth. It just needed, yeah, just needed a little bit of extra. Interestingly, the white hasn't really showed. There's well, maybe a tiny bit there, but that drizzle of white, I was expecting to really make it a lot brighter. I don't think it needs it. This is absolutely perfect, but that hasn't showed too much actually. So really happy. My only concern now is that there's a lot of paint on this canvas because I didn't tilt. So will it dry okay? So fingers crossed. I'll be back when it's dry. So it's now dry. It's dried really well. I was worried maybe that there was too much paint and it would go a bit swampy, but it's just dried exactly as I've left it. I love, if you look at the dark purple, I love how it staggers across, so you can see where I put the paint down in those wiggly diagonal lines, but it's not an obvious pattern. So that's exactly what I was wanting. The other thing I was really hoping for was just these really small, delicate, little precise cells, and I've got that. So this is exactly right. This is exactly what I wanted for the next step. So the next step, I'm going to be doing 4 hearts and painting the negative space outside the hearts, and I'm going to put them in the design of a 4-leaf clover. So never tried this, really looking forward to seeing the result. So it's now finished, really happy with it. A change I made off camera, the black that I've put around here, the relief marker, I found found it really difficult to use. It came out really lumpy. I don't know if there's a technique to it. It seemed to get easier as I went, so I wonder if just warming it up by holding it helped, but it was really bumpy. So what I've ended up doing is going over with my gold Posca pen. You can still see the lumps and bumps, but I actually just think it looks almost a bit antique-y now with the gold and the sort of the texture to it. So yeah, didn't plan on doing that, but I'm glad I have, because it really helps it stand out. I've gone around with the gold Posca pen to create a border, an edging to my border, which I think worked really well. Let me show you the amazing resin, and so you can show you what that does. It just makes it jump off the canvas. So the black is extremely matte because it was just paint. It didn't have any pouring medium with it. So that, in contrast to that resin, I just think works really well. Other thing I did was I varnished the edge. I didn't want to put resin on it because I didn't think I'd be able to secure it, to keep it on there well enough. So I have just varnished it. So it has a bit of a shine to it, but obviously doesn't detract from the actual clover. Yeah, and the sparkle I put in it, it's called Ignition Dust, and what an amazing effect, because it's reasonably subtle, but it makes such a difference. It just helps it to come to life. So it's been a bit of an experiment, this, but really happy with it. Let me know what you think. If you like it, please do hit the thumbs up button. If you've got any tips on how to use that relief marker, I'd love to know, because I like the effect it gives, but I just don't think, it's just difficult to use, or I'm just not very good at it, one of the two. Great, thanks so much for watching. Bye.